The most dangerous place for a woman to be is not in a battlefield. It's trapped inside her own uncontrolled thoughts. Every day your mind is bombarded with doubts, fears, and distractions. But here's the truth. When you control your mind, you control your emotions, your decisions, and your destiny. This is not about being perfect. It's about being powerful. Today, I'm going to show you how to stop being a prisoner of your thoughts and become the queen of your mental kingdom. Because the woman who masters her mind, masters her world. A woman's greatest power is not in her beauty, not in her voice, not even in the things she owns. It's in her mind. Control it, and you control your destiny. Think about it. Everything you've ever done, every decision you've ever made, every dream you've ever chased or given up on, started as a thought. The mind is where wars are won before the first move is made. It's where victories are built long before the world ever sees them. And yet, most of us leave our minds unguarded, letting anyone and anything plant seeds in it, seeds that grow into fears, insecurities, and limits. But here's the truth. Your mind is the crown jewel of your life. And like any precious treasure, it needs protection. You don't hand over your car keys to a stranger, so why hand over your mental keys to negative people, toxic relationships, or societal pressure? From the moment you wake up, your mind is under attack. From the news headlines that trigger fear, to social media feeds that make you compare your life to others, to voices in your past telling you you're not good enough. These are not harmless little whispers. They're thieves, stealing your focus, your confidence, and your ability to rise. But when you take control, everything changes. The doubts start losing their grip. The fears become quieter. Your vision becomes clearer. You start walking with a confidence that doesn't depend on likes, comments, or approval from anyone. And suddenly, the world notices. Not because you're louder, but because you're unshakable, grounded, and radiating a calm that demands respect without a single word. Controlling your mind doesn't mean shutting off your emotions or ignoring challenges. It means you choose what thoughts to entertain, what stories to believe, and what energy to allow into your life. It's the discipline to stop spiraling into what if and start focusing on what now. Pictures. You're yourself as the queen of a great kingdom. Your mind is your castle. Every thought is like a guest knocking at the gate. Some guests bring wisdom, encouragement, and strength. Let them in. Others bring chaos, doubt, and destruction. Turn them away. A queen does not allow every passerby into her throne room. She knows her worth, and she guards it fiercely. And here's the secret no one tells you. Controlling your mind is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice, a constant commitment. There will be days when the old doubts try to come back, days when life hits harder than you expected. But the woman who has trained her mind is like a warrior. She may bend, but she does not break, because her foundation is unshakable. So today is not just about inspiration. It's about action. It's about reclaiming the throne of your own thoughts. Because when you control your mind as a woman, you don't just survive life's storms. You walk through them with your head held high, crown intact, and power untouched. Why the mind matters. Your mind is not just a part of you. It is you. It's the control tower directing every move you make. The invisible hand shaping your choices, your habits, your relationships, your future. Every goal you set, every challenge you face, every victory you win begins as a seed planted in the soil of your thoughts. That's why the mind matters more than anything else. We live in a world where people spend years building their bodies, their careers, their wardrobes, but rarely spend time building their mind. Yet the truth is, without a strong mind, every other achievement is fragile. You can have beauty, but without mental strength, insecurity will eat away at it. You can have money, but without mental control, fear will make you feel like it's never enough. You can have opportunities, but without clarity, you'll watch them pass you by. Your mind is the filter through which you experience life. Two women can face the exact same challenge. One will see it as a curse, the other will see it as an opportunity to grow. What's the difference? Not luck, not fate, it's mindset. The one who trains her mind to see possibility instead of limitation becomes unstoppable. Every day, your mind is gathering information, connecting patterns, and creating the meaning you live by. And here's the powerful truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the master of them. Thoughts will come and go, some uplifting, some destructive. You get to decide which ones you feed and which ones you starve. Think of your mind like a garden. If you neglect it, weeds of doubt and fear will grow wild. If you care for it, planting seeds of courage, focus, and belief, it will bloom into something unstoppable. And just like any garden, what you plant is exactly what you will harvest. History is filled with women who changed the world not because they had more resources, but because they had more resolve. They believed in their vision when no one else did. They stayed focused when everyone told them to quit. They understood that the greatest battle is not out there. It's in here, in the mind. The woman who masters her mind doesn't just change her own life. She becomes an example, a leader, a force of nature. She inspires others simply by living in her truth. She doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her presence speaks louder than her words. That is why the mind matters, because when you strengthen it, you unlock everything else. When you control it, you stop being at the mercy of circumstance and start writing your own story. And when you master it, there is no challenge, no criticism, no obstacle that can take away your power. The silent battle. The greatest battles a woman faces are often not in public, but in the privacy of her own mind. No audience, no applause, just you. And the thoughts that either lift you up or pull you down. This battle is silent, but it is relentless. It starts the moment you open your eyes in the morning and doesn't end until you sleep. And even then, it can follow you into your dreams. The silent battle is not against the world's expectations. It's against the voice inside that whispers, "You can't, you're not ready, you're not enough." That voice grows louder when you fail, when you compare yourself to others, when life doesn't go according to plan. And if you're not careful, it will convince you to settle for less than you deserve. You see, it's not always the obvious enemies that hold you back. It's the hidden fears, the buried insecurities, and the stories you've been told about who you are and what you can become. Some of these stories come from your past, a harsh word from a teacher, a painful breakup, a family that doubted you. Others are planted by society, telling you to be smaller, quieter, less ambitious. But here's the truth. Those voices are not reality. They are echoes of someone else's limitations, not yours. And the silent battle is won the moment you recognize that you have the power to rewrite the script playing in your mind. Winning this battle doesn't mean you never hear those voices again. It means you learn to face them without fear. You learn to say, "I hear you, but I don't believe you." You learn to replace them with thoughts that push you forward instead of holding you back. This is why awareness is everything. When you notice your thoughts drifting toward doubt or fear, pause, breathe, ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? And if it's hurting you, let it go. Release it like a bird you never want returning to our window. Remember, the mind will believe whatever you tell it, whether it's the truth or a lie. Feed it strength, and it will carry you through storms. Feed it weakness, and it will collapse at the first sign of trouble. Every woman must fight her own silent battles, but those who win them walk through life with a quiet confidence that can't be faked, a presence that doesn't need validation, and a power that cannot be taken away. Know your triggers. You cannot control every situation in life, but you can control how you respond, and that begins with knowing your triggers. Every woman has them. Those moments, words, or situations that instantly pull you into anger, fear, self-doubt, or distraction. They can be as obvious as a toxic person who drains your energy, or as subtle as a casual comment that stirs an old insecurity you thought you'd buried long ago. The danger is not in having triggers. it's in being unaware of them. Because when you don't know what sets you off, you give away control. One small spark can ignite a fire that burns your focus, your confidence, and your peace. But when you do know them, you can prepare for them, diffuse them, and stop them from owning your emotions. Your triggers might live in the digital world, a social media post that makes you compare your life, a news story that fills you with fear, an online comment that shakes your self-worth. They might live in your daily environment, certain people, certain places, certain habits that pull you back into an old version of yourself you've outgrown. Awareness is your armor. When you can say, I know what weakens me, I know what distracts me, and I know what steals my energy, you've already won half the battle, because now those triggers no longer catch you by surprise. They have nowhere to hide. It's not about avoiding the world. It's about walking into it prepared. If you know that certain conversations will drain you, you can set boundaries before they begin. If you know that certain environments cloud your thinking, you can choose to stay away or shift your mindset before you step in. Think of it like a queen guarding her castle. She knows where the walls are weakest, so she reinforces them. She knows where the enemy might attack, so she posts extra guards. The queen doesn't panic when danger comes. She's ready because she studied the battlefield. This is the power of knowing your triggers. It's not weakness to admit you have them. It's strength. Because the woman who knows what can shake her is the woman who can stand firm when it happens. She doesn't waste her energy fighting every small distraction. She saves her strength for battles that truly matter. Once you know your triggers, you can take back the control they once had over you. And when you do, the world no longer has the power to pull you out of your peace. Build mental boundaries. Your mind is like a sacred garden. It can grow beauty, peace, and strength, but only if you protect it. Without boundaries, anyone can walk in, trample the flowers, plant weeds, and leave chaos behind. This is why building mental boundaries is not optional. It's survival. A mental boundary is not a wall to keep the world out. It's a filter to decide what gets in. You cannot control what people say or do, but you can control what you allow to live in your mind. Every word you absorb, every image you watch, every story you believe, these are seeds. Some will grow into confidence and courage. Others will grow into fear and insecurity. Your boundaries decide which ones take root. Strong mental boundaries mean you stop giving free rent to other people's negativity. If someone constantly complains, criticizes, or drains your energy, you limit their influence. If the news leaves you anxious for hours, you step back. If social media makes you question your worth, you take control of your feed instead of letting it control you. Boundaries are also about self-respect. You teach the world how to treat you by what you tolerate. When you say, I will not let this thought, this person, or this energy take space in my mind, you are claiming ownership of your mental kingdom. Imagine your mind as a royal court. Not everyone deserves an audience with the queen. Some visitors bring wisdom, encouragement, and truth. Welcome them. Others bring gossip, judgment, and fear. Dismiss them without hesitation. A queen who values her crown will never let thieves too close. And here's the truth. At first, setting mental boundaries feels uncomfortable. You might worry about offending others. You might feel guilty for saying no. But over time, you'll see that protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. Because when your mind is clear, your focus is sharp. And your energy is high. You can give your best to the people and projects that truly matter. Without mental boundaries, you'll be pulled in 1,000 directions by forces that don't deserve your attention. With them, you decide where your energy goes. And that choice, that power, changes everything. A woman who builds mental boundaries is a woman who commands her life. She is not easily shaken, not easily swayed, and not easily broken. Her mind is her sanctuary, her thoughts her allies, and her peace her greatest wealth. Turn pain into power. Every woman carries scars. Some are visible, most are not. They come from heartbreaks that shattered your trust, failures that shook your confidence, betrayals that made you question your worth. And while pain can feel like an enemy, it can also be your greatest teacher, if you choose to use it. Pain, left unmanaged, will keep you trapped. It will replay memories until they become cages. But pain, transformed, becomes fuel. The kind of fuel that no challenge can burn out. The difference lies in one choice. Will you let it break you, or will you make it build you? Every time you've been hurt, you've been handed a piece of wisdom. Every disappointment taught you something about patience, strength, or boundaries. Every rejection reminded you that your value is not dependent on someone else's acceptance. If you see pain only as punishment, you miss the gift hidden inside it. Think of the most powerful women in history. Leaders, creators, visionaries. None of them lived untouched by hardship. They succeeded because they learned to turn wounds into weapons, setbacks into stepping stones. They didn't just survive their pain. They shaped it into a force that pushed them forward. Turning pain into power starts with perspective. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what can this teach me? That single shift transforms you from victim to warrior. Pain may have entered without your permission, but growth will not happen without your decision. It also requires letting go of the belief that healing means forgetting. True healing is not erasing the memory. It's looking at it without letting it control you. It's saying, yes, this hurt me, but it will not define me. And here's the beautiful truth. Pain makes you relatable, compassionate, and unshakable. It gives you the ability to understand others in a way comfort never could. It toughens your spirit without hardening your heart. When you turn pain into power, you stop running from your past and start walking toward your future. You stop seeing scars as weaknesses and start wearing them as proof that you are stronger than what tried to destroy you. Remember this. The fire that tried to burn you can be the same fire that forges you. And once you've been forged in that kind of heat, you become impossible to break. Emotional discipline. Emotions are powerful. They can be your greatest allies or your worst enemies. Love can inspire, anger can protect, fear can warn. But without discipline, emotions can take the wheel and drive you straight into regret. Emotional discipline is not about feeling less. It's about mastering what you feel so it works for you, not against you. Most people let emotions control their actions. They speak in anger, decide in fear, and quit in frustration. But a disciplined woman knows how to pause. She understands that between an emotion and a reaction, there is a space, and in that space lies her power. Emotional discipline begins with awareness. When something upsets you, notice it without immediately reacting. Ask yourself, is my response based on truth or just on how I feel right now? Feelings are real, but they are not always accurate. They can be colored by exhaustion, stress, or old wounds. That's why discipline matters. It filters your emotions through wisdom before you act. It also requires patience. A disciplined woman doesn't rush into arguments just to be heard. She doesn't let anger make her reckless or sadness make her hopeless. Instead, she sits with the emotion, studies it, and decides the right time and place to respond. This isn't weakness. It's strategy. Think of an archer. She doesn't release the arrow the moment she pulls the bowstring. She waits, breathes, aims, and only then does she let go. That's how emotional discipline works. You're not denying your emotions, you're directing them toward your goals. This skill will protect you in moments when life tests you the most, in heated conversations, during setbacks, or when someone tries to provoke you. If they can't control your emotions, they can't control you. And that makes you untouchable. Emotional discipline is also about channeling your energy where it matters, not if every insult needs a response. Not every disagreement deserves a battle. Not every problem is worth your peace. When you know how to choose your battles, you save your strength for the fights that will actually change your life. Remember, storms will always come, but the woman who can stand still in the rain without panicking is the one who emerges strongest. She doesn't deny her emotions, she simply refuses to be ruled by them. When you master emotional discipline, you stop being a prisoner to moods, triggers, and temporary feelings. Instead, you become the calm in the chaos. The kind of woman who moves with intention, speaks with impact, and leads with unshakable presence. Daily mind training. Your mind is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger with consistent training. You wouldn't go to the gym once a month and expect to be physically fit. The same is true for your thoughts. Mental strength is not built in occasional bursts of motivation. It's built through small, daily habits that sharpen your focus, feed your courage, and protect your peace. Every day, the world will try to train your mind for you. Through advertisements that tell you you're not enough, through headlines that feed your fear, through voices that plant doubt. If you don't take control, your mind will be shaped by forces that don't have your best interest at heart. That's why daily mind training is non-negotiable for a woman who wants to be unshakable. So, how do you train your mind? Start with what you feed it. Just as your body becomes what you eat, your mind becomes what you consume. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to voices that inspire growth. Avoid content that leaves you drained or insecure. Be intentional. If it doesn't build you, it doesn't belong in your daily diet. Then, strengthen your focus. Set aside moments each day to disconnect from noise. No phone, no social media, no distractions. Use that time to reflect, journal, or meditate. This isn't about sitting in silence for hours. It's about creating space for your thoughts to breathe so you can think clearly. Visualization is another powerful tool. Spend a few minutes every day picturing the woman you want to be, how she walks, how she speaks, how she thinks. The brain doesn't fully distinguish between imagined success and real experience, so the more vividly you see it, the more your actions will align to make it real. Daily mind training also means practicing gratitude. When you focus on what's good, you rewire your brain to see possibility instead of limitation. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning, no matter how small. Gratitude turns ordinary days into sources of energy and perspective. And perhaps most importantly, challenge yourself. Step outside your comfort zone regularly. Take on projects that scare you. Speak up when you feel nervous. Push your limits. Not recklessly, but intentionally. So your mind learns that fear is not a stop sign, but a signal for growth. Over time, these small daily practices compound into something extraordinary. Just like lifting weights builds physical strength, these habits build mental resilience. You'll notice you think clearer, react calmer, and bounce back faster. The truth is, you cannot control every challenge life throws at you. But if your mind is trained, you'll face those challenges with the same confidence a seasoned athlete has on the field. Ready, focused, and unafraid. A strong mind is not an accident. It's the result of daily, deliberate work. And the woman who trains her mind every day doesn't just survive the world, she shapes it. Self-talk matters. The words you speak to yourself are the most powerful words you will ever hear. They shape your identity, dictate your actions, and ultimately decide the life you create. The way you talk to yourself is either building you up into the woman you want to become, or tearing you down into someone you barely recognize. Every woman has an inner voice. Sometimes it's a cheerleader pushing you forward. You've got this. Keep going. You're stronger than this moment. But too often, it's a critic. You'll fail. You're not good enough. You don't belong here. And here's the truth. Your mind believes what you tell it most often. If you feed it fear, it will shrink. If you feed it faith, it will rise. Self-talk is not about lying to yourself or ignoring reality. It's about choosing which truth you will magnify. You can acknowledge challenges without surrendering to them. You can admit you're still learning while affirming that you are capable of growth. The words you choose are seeds, and your mind will grow whatever you plant. Think of how you speak to your best friend when she's struggling. You encourage her, remind her of her strengths, and point her towards solutions. Now ask yourself, why don't you speak to yourself the same way? If you wouldn't say it to someone you love, it doesn't belong in your own mind. The most successful, confident women you've ever admired are not immune to self-doubt. The difference is, they know how to speak to themselves in a way that fuels action instead of paralysis. When their inner critic whispers, they answer back with a louder, stronger voice that says, "Watch me prove you wrong." Changing your self-talk requires awareness. Start by listening to the words you use when you're stressed, when you make a mistake, or when you look in the mirror. Are they harsh, belittling, impatient? Or are they supportive, patient, and focused on growth? The moment you catch yourself speaking in a way that tears you down, stop. Replace those words with something that builds you up, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Repetition is key. Speak affirmations daily, not as empty slogans, but as intentional truths. Say them out loud. I am capable. I am disciplined. I am worthy of success. I am in control of my mind. Over time, these words will become the soundtrack of your life, replacing doubt with confidence. And remember, self-talk is not just about motivation. It's about identity. You are teaching your mind who you are with every word you say. If you constantly call yourself weak, your actions will follow. If you declare yourself strong, your decisions will align. The woman who masters her self-talk masters her destiny. She doesn't wait for the world to validate her. She validates herself daily. And when the world hears the way she speaks about herself, they have no choice but to believe it too. Focus on what you can control. The fastest way to drain your energy is to obsess over things you cannot control. The weather, the economy, other people's opinions, their choices, their moods, none of these are in your hands. And yet so many women spend hours, even days, worrying about them. Every minute spent on what's beyond your power is a minute stolen from what's within it. Here's the truth. Life will never be without chaos. Unexpected problems will come. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. But you always have a choice. Waste your strength trying to change what you can't, or invest that strength in what you can. Focusing on what you can control doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to hand your peace over to it. It's a shift in perspective. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I do with this?" That single question moves you from powerless to powerful. You can't control if the rain falls, but you can carry an umbrella. You can't control if someone else speaks badly of you, but you can control the way you respond. Or if you respond at all. You can't control every obstacle, but you can control the discipline, patience, and persistence you bring to it. Think of your energy like a currency. Every day, you get a limited amount. If you spend it on worrying about things you can't change, you'll have nothing left for the battles you can win. But if you guard it and direct it toward actions that actually move your life forward, your progress will be unstoppable. This mindset is what separates those who feel constantly defeated from those who keep rising no matter what happens. The first group waits for perfect conditions. The second group creates progress with whatever conditions they're given. Ask yourself, what is within my control right now? Your work ethic is. Your attitude is. The habits you practice every day are. The people you choose to surround yourself with are. The way you speak to yourself is. These are your tools, your weapons, your foundation. The world will always try to pull your focus outward, to get you caught up in drama, comparison, and fear. But a woman who controls her mind knows how to pull her focus back inward, where her real power lives. She becomes unshakable because her stability doesn't depend on what's happening around her. It depends on what's happening within her. And here's the magic. When you put your energy into what you can control, you often end up influencing more than you imagined. People respect those who stay calm under pressure. Opportunities come to those who take action instead of complaining. Doors open for women who keep moving forward, no matter what storms are outside. Focus on what you can control, and watch everything you once thought was out of reach start coming within your grasp. Stay unshakable under pressure. Pressure is the great revealer. It strips away pretense and shows the truth of who you are. Anyone can seem confident when life is easy, but the real test of strength is how you stand when everything feels like it's closing in on you. Life will put you in situations where the weight feels unbearable, deadlines crashing down, personal challenges piling up, emotions threatening to take over. In those moments, most people panic, crumble, or retreat. But a woman who has trained her mind knows a different way. She knows how to stand still in the storm, unshaken, while the winds rage around her. Being unshakable under pressure doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you refuse to let your emotions dictate your decisions. It means you breathe when you want to yell, think when you want to react, and act with clarity when others are frozen in chaos. When the world pushes you, your instinct might be to push back with equal force, but often the power lies in holding your ground, not being swept into the momentum of panic. This is where mental preparation meets emotional discipline. You've trained for this. You've built your boundaries. You've mastered your self-talk. Now, when the heat is on, you draw from those reserves. Pressure can be your enemy if you fight it blindly, but it can also be your teacher if you learn to work with it. Diamonds are created under pressure, not because they resist it, but because they endure it without breaking. To remain unshakable, focus on what matters in the moment. Block out the noise of what if and anchor yourself in what now. What action can I take right this second that will move me one step forward? It might be small, but small steps under pressure are still progress. Also, remember that stillness is not weakness. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make under pressure is to pause, to let the initial wave of emotion pass before you choose your next step. A warrior doesn't swing her sword at the first shadow she sees. She waits until she's sure of her target. Staying unshakable under pressure also means protecting your energy. When stress hits, your mind will tempt you to spread yourself thin, to fix everything at once. But strength comes from focus. Choose your battles and pour your best into the ones that truly matter. And when the storm finally passes, because it always does, you'll stand there, not just as someone who survived, but as someone who proved to herself that she cannot be easily moved. That kind of confidence doesn't fade, it becomes part of you. The world will always have storms, but the woman who stays unshakable under pressure doesn't just weather them, she commands them. The power of vision. Every great achievement begins twice, first in the mind, then in reality. The woman you become is the woman you first see in your imagination. Without a vision, life will pull you in every direction, like a ship with no destination, tossed by every wave. But with a clear vision, you become unstoppable, because every choice, every habit, and every action is guided by a single, powerful compass: your future. Vision is not daydreaming. Daydreams are wishes. Vision is a decision. It is the deliberate act of creating a picture of your ideal life and committing to it, no matter how far away it feels today. When you have a strong vision, you begin to filter your world differently. You ask yourself before every choice, does this take me closer to my vision or further away? And if it doesn't serve the future you've decided on, it doesn't deserve your time, your energy, or your attention. A vision should excite you, but it should also scare you. If your vision feels too small, it won't pull you out of your comfort zone. A great vision challenges you to grow into the kind of woman who can carry it. It demands new skills, stronger discipline, and deeper belief. The power of vision lies in its ability to keep you steady when life gets messy. When you face rejection, your vision reminds you why you started. When you feel tired, your vision whispers that the work is worth it. When people doubt you, your vision becomes the evidence you hold inside until the outside world catches up. To strengthen your vision, write it down in vivid detail. Don't just say, "I want to be successful." Describe exactly what success looks like for you. Where are you living? What work are you doing? How do you feel when you wake up? Who are you surrounded by? The more detail you give it, the more real it becomes in your mind. And the mind always works to make what it sees consistent with reality. Then revisit your vision daily. Read it in the morning before the world distracts you. Read it at night so it fuels your subconscious while you sleep. Keep it alive in your thoughts because what you focus on expands. But vision alone is not enough. It must be paired with action. Otherwise, it's just a beautiful picture that never leaves the frame of your imagination. Your vision is the map, but you still have to take the journey. When a woman owns her vision, she is not swayed by the opinions of the crowd. She doesn't need everyone to see what she sees, because she knows that vision is a private agreement between her and her future. And when that vision finally becomes reality, she realizes something powerful. It wasn't the destination that changed her the most. It was the woman she became while chasing it. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is a spark. It feels amazing when it hits, but it burns out quickly. Discipline is the fire you build that keeps burning, even when the winds of life try to blow it out. If you rely only on motivation, you'll start and stop 1,000 times. But if you rely on discipline, you'll keep moving forward, even on the days you don't feel like it. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is a decision. Motivation waits for the perfect mood. Discipline shows up no matter the mood. Motivation is what makes you excited to start. Discipline is what ensures you finish. Here's the hard truth. You will not always feel like doing the work. You won't always want to get up early, train your body, build your business, or study for that next step in your career. Some days you will be tired. Some days you will be discouraged. Some days you will question if it's even worth it. That's when discipline becomes your greatest weapon. Discipline is built through consistency. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you strengthen it. Every time you keep going when you'd rather quit, you make it harder for excuses to control you. And here's the magic. The more you practice discipline, the less you need to rely on motivation, because your actions become habits. Think of it like training a muscle. At first, it feels heavy, uncomfortable, and awkward. But with repetition, that muscle grows. Discipline works the same way. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets, and the more you can carry without breaking. A disciplined woman doesn't wait for the perfect moment. She creates progress in imperfect conditions. She doesn't tell herself, "I'll start when I feel ready." She tells herself, "I start now, because I want the future I see in my vision." To strengthen your discipline, set clear, non-negotiable standards for yourself. Decide what you will do every day, whether it's reading for 20 minutes, working out, practicing a skill, or dedicating time to your craft. And then do it, no matter how you feel. Emotion is a visitor. Commitment is a resident. Also, learn to honor small wins. Discipline is not about punishing yourself. It's about proving to yourself over and over that you can be trusted with your own goals. Each day you keep your word, you build self-respect, and that self-respect becomes fuel for the next day. Motivation might get you to the starting line, but discipline gets you to the finish line. And when you look back, you'll realize that the days you didn't feel like showing up, but did anyway, are the days that changed you the most. The woman who chooses discipline over motivation doesn't just chase her dreams, she catches them. Protect your energy. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Every thought you think, every conversation you have, every choice you make either invests in your future or drains it away. And yet, many women give their energy to things, people, and situations that don't deserve it, leaving themselves exhausted, uninspired, and unable to fully show up for their own goals. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot build your vision if you are constantly drained by negativity, drama, or meaningless distractions. Energy is life, and once it's spent, you can't get that exact moment back. To protect your energy, first be aware of where it's going. Notice how you feel after being around certain people. Do you feel uplifted or do you feel drained? Pay attention to the activities that leave you feeling stronger versus the ones that leave you empty. Your body and your mind are always giving you signals. You just have to listen. Set boundaries like your future depends on them, because it does. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates to protect what matters most. A woman who protects her energy says no without guilt, because she understands that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that matters. Also, be intentional with your environment. The spaces you spend time in, the media you consume, and the conversations you engage in all have an impact on your mental state. If your environment is constantly filled with noise, chaos, and negativity, your energy will always be under attack. Create spaces that recharge you, even if it's just a corner of your room where you can think, breathe, and reset. Another key to protecting your energy is managing your mental diet. Just as your body responds to the food you eat, your mind responds to the information you consume. If you see constantly feed it fear, gossip, or comparison, it will weaken you. But if you feed it wisdom, encouragement, and inspiration, it will strengthen you. And remember, protecting your energy is also about how you speak to yourself. Self-doubt, overthinking, and harsh self-criticism can drain you just as quickly as toxic people. Replace that inner critic with a voice that reminds you of your power, your progress, and your potential. When you learn to protect your energy, you stop reacting to every little thing. You stop letting every opinion or problem pull you off course. You move through life with more focus, more peace, and more strength, because your energy is being directed toward your vision, not scattered in 100 different directions. The woman who protects her energy doesn't burn out. She builds, she grows, she shines. And her light is not dimmed by the world. It's amplified because she's fueling it with intention every single day. Become the master of your mind. Every step we've talked about, from discipline to vision, from protecting your energy to staying unshakable, leads to this single truth. Mastering your mind is the foundation of mastering your life. The world will always have noise. People will always have opinions. Life will always bring both blessings and storms. But the woman who has mastered her mind cannot be controlled by any of it. She becomes the calm in the chaos, the fire in the cold, the light in the dark. Mastery of the mind is not about never having negative thoughts. It's about knowing that those thoughts are visitors, and you choose which ones get to stay. You are no longer a prisoner of every fear, every doubt, every insecurity that tries to take root. Instead, you become the gatekeeper, letting in only what serves your purpose and pushing out what tries to weaken you. This kind of power doesn't come from chance. It comes from practice, daily practice. You train your mind like an athlete trains their body. You watch your self-talk. You choose your focus. You control your reactions. And with time, this discipline becomes second nature. When you master your mind, you stop chasing validation from the outside world because you've already built it inside yourself. You no longer measure your worth by other people's opinions or by temporary setbacks. Your confidence is no longer fragile because it is rooted in something unshakable, your own belief in who you are becoming. A woman who commands her mind also commands her destiny. She is not swayed by the emotions of the moment. She doesn't give her power away to anger, jealousy, or fear. She knows that her emotions are tools, meant to be used, not obeyed blindly. And here is the greatest gift of mastering your mind: freedom. Freedom from comparison, freedom from overthinking, freedom from the mental cages that keeps many stuck. You begin to move differently. You speak differently. You live differently. Because every action is rooted in clarity, not chaos. When you become the master of your mind, the world notices. Opportunities come, not because luck magically finds you, but because your focus, your energy, and your presence make you magnetic. You are no longer reacting to life, you are creating it. So as you leave this moment and step back into your life, remember this: the storms will come, the challenges will rise, and the distractions will try to pull you away. But if you hold your ground, if you protect your energy, keep your vision alive, choose discipline over motivation, and command your thoughts, nothing will have the power to break you. Master your mind, and you will master your world. Everything we've explored in this journey, controlling your mind, building discipline, protecting your energy, holding your vision, has been leading to one unshakable truth. The life you dream of is already waiting for you, but your mind is the key that unlocks it. The challenges you faced were not sent to break you. They were sent to shape you. Every disappointment, every delay, every setback you thought was the end was actually preparing you for the strength you would need to walk into your future. The woman you are becoming is being forged in the fire of your own growth. But here's the thing. The world will not slow down for you to be ready. No one will hand you the life you want. You have to decide here and now that you will rise, that you will stop waiting for the perfect moment and start building your future with the tools you have, right where you are. You are stronger than the fear that whispers in your ear. You are greater than the doubts that try to chain you to your past. You are not here to live in reaction. You are here to live in creation. Your thoughts are seeds, your actions are water, and your discipline is the sunlight that makes your dreams grow. Yes, there will be days you want to quit. There will be voices telling you it's too late, too hard, too far. But the truth? The only way to fail is to stop moving forward. Even if it's one small step a day, step anyway. Crawl if you have to, but never stop. Because one day, the woman who doubted herself will stand in the life she once thought was impossible. She will look back and realize the mountain she was climbing was not just about reaching the top. It was about discovering the power she always had inside. And in that moment, she will understand it was never the world she needed to control. It was her mind. So as you walk away from this video, I want you to remember something. You are the author, the artist, and the architect of your life. Your story is still being written, your masterpiece is still being painted, and your foundation is still being built. Every thought you think, every action you take is a brick in the structure of your destiny. Hold the vision, protect your energy, choose discipline over comfort, and above all, master your mind. Because when you control your mind, you don't just survive the world, you shape it, you own it, you rule.